Oh, yeah. And welcome. Yeah. Thank you, Peter. Thank you. I can see that. Okay, so welcome everybody. We're here. We're live. And I've actually got a double echo, so I'm just going to sort that out. There we go. Okay, so here we are. Unfortunately, we're at United States. It's come on a little bit early, and the first fact is the CIA have a secret breeding program to produce Americans small enough to fit in F1 cars. As yet, no luck. The closest they've come is to use Mexicans. Makes sense. Sergio Perez, that's a reference to. Well done. Hello, Minnow, by the way. Americans are still divided about Formula One racing. Race cars making right turns, still frowned upon in the US. We only like left. But there you go. So that's America. Looking beautiful as ever. And home with the free and the trains and the brave. And NASCAR. We saw Dale Earnhardt's NASCAR this year. Oh, Formula One music. Oh my God, I'm scared. Something happened. What was it? I don't know. Okay. Welcome everybody. Welcome Spooky. Welcome Savage. Welcome Geo. So welcome everybody. So yeah, we were at Austin this week. USA. Go USA. And it was a fantastic race. A British winner. A British winner in the USA. It was a fantastic race. I watched the whole thing. You look confused, Fabio. I don't know why. British winner. Yeah. There was a world champion crowned. Did you not know that?
Oh, yeah. It was French.
Oh, no. She's British.
Well, actually, there was a French guy which was crowned world champion this Saturday.
No, not in USA.
Oh, yeah. Well, not in USA, but fuck it.
I think you'll find that was in some insignificant country somewhere in Southern Europe, but I'm not certain.
The fuck? What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, I thought it was at Misano, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Isn't that in Italy?
It is in Italy, yes.
There we go. So that was at some insignificant Southern European country.
Okay.
Yeah. No, the one I'm talking about. Of course, the one everybody
spoke like a true Brexiteer. Let me say that. Yeah,
thank you very much. I know I didn't have to specify Southern Europe. I could have just said Europe, but there you go.
Right.
Exactly. But no. In fact, it was the W Series champion, Jamie Chadwick, who won in Austin, the World Series champion, W champion, world, maybe not. But you didn't know that, did you? I have absolutely flummoxed Fabio.
The women's championship, that's what you meant.
W Series, yes.
Yeah, so you just don't want to be that guy. You don't want to say, the series that they made specifically for women driving. You don't want to be that guy, but that's what you meant.
I'm just saying, it's the women's series, the W Series. Mm-hmm. We have this week was crowned Jamie Chadwick as champion. So well done to Jamie Chadwick. She's defended her title. She's 2 years running. She's got a way to go to catch up with Lewis, but nonetheless, she's on her way. So well done, and hopefully we'll see her in F3 or F2. Well, F3 probably soon, because she definitely deserves that. So that was the main race. There was a support race called Formula One, and Lewis didn't win it. So thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. That was great. And no, obviously we'll go through a race recap. A fantastic pole position by Max Verstappen on the Saturday. It seemed to me that the Red Bull did have the pace advantage, and it showed throughout the race. So, as I say, magic pole for Max Verstappen, then Lewis Hamilton in second place, and Perez, the Mexican, in third place. A fantastic fourth place on pole in qualifying for Leclerc. And, of course, that was pretty much how it all ended, I think. But nonetheless, Lewis got away very well off the line from second place, managed to get into first place in the first corner. So a fantastic start. And then it was all about tactics because, of course, Max really needed to be ahead to get his car advantage to work. He was unable to do that. He almost got overtaken by Perez, actually, in turn two. Perez backed off, obviously, doing the team butler duties. And then after that, it was all a bit of a battle between McLaren and Ferrari, and Ferrari basically came out on top. So that was pretty much it. Um, the real deciding point in the race for me, of course, was when Max came in on lap 11 to pit, which was a very early stop. But like Christian Horner, the manager of Red Bull, said, they just wanted to gain track position, which they managed to do. And from there, it was just a matter of Max driving to the end of the race without making any mistakes, which is what he did. Other than that, that was pretty much it. Mercedes tried to use some strategy of going longer on their tyres to keep fresher tyres towards the end of the race, but unfortunately that didn't work. Mercedes just wasn't up to it because it didn't have the pace advantage like normal. And of course, when the Mercedes is behind, it really doesn't follow cars very well. So that was turned out to be the pattern of the race. And anybody that did fall asleep, you're forgiven. Okay.
Yeah.
Ferrari and McLaren. Well, that was a pretty good race as well. There was some nice overtaking. Leclerc drove superbly well, back to his best, considering the car had a deficit in speed. And then, other than that, there weren't many outstanding drives really. Tsunoda potentially by keeping Bottas behind him. Bottas only managing to get up to, I don't know, some lowly place like 6th or something, which was a disappointment considering he's in one of the fastest cars. As I said, really, it was a tactic, a game of strategy, and as usual, Red Bull came out on top. So that was pretty much it. Fabio, what would you have to say about the race?
Yeah, there was some interesting things as you already said. You know, the first lap with the duel between Ricciardo, Sainz, and Lando, which all of a sudden, I don't know if he forgot where the brake pedal was, but he made a really crazy. He tried to make a really crazy overtake and it failed. Yeah, but that was cool. Other than that, you're pretty spot on. I mean, I felt asleep. Again, there were some episodes. The Ricciardo Sainz thing was one, and there was some brilliant driving by the two old timers, Alonso and Raikkonen. I mean, I think it's 82 years combined. But they made a really, really, really nice duel. Nobody giving a fuck about the other. Really proper racing. Pieces of carbon fiber flying all around, and fuck it. And it was a shame. It was a shame that Kimi spun at the very last lap, because it was going to get 1 point. On the track where it was, the last Ferrari winner, the last won the race with Ferrari. So that was kind of disappointing. And other than that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there was Max apparently has become a masterful tactician. He was, suggesting the tactics to the box, and they just said yes sir, and they just called Checo Perez, for the undertake on Lewis. Lewis was really happy. You could see how elaborate was in his comment after the race on the radio. When everybody opened up and they talked to him, and there was a really interesting response from the guy. He made a really good analysis of the race. He basically said shit. He didn't say anything at all. So yeah, there was that. I mean, other than that, disappointing. It was disappointing for Sainz. Leclerc did a nice race. He got, it is true that he got 50 seconds from the first, which is almost, like 9/10 of a second per lap. So the gap
terrible.
is still there.
Yeah.
But it's also true that he got I think, 10 seconds from Perez. So, swings and roundabouts.
Perez had pretty disastrous drive as well, as far as I could see.
I mean, still, you gotta say, the glass half, full of whatever the fuck, Sainz drove I think he drove a really good race. He got his car damaged with, I think, I don't know if it was Richard or somebody else. He got, probably Raikkonen. I don't know. I mean, somebody. He just got his car damaged.
I think it was Raikkonen or Giovinazzi, one of the two. I can't remember.
Talking about Giovinazzi, there was a really interesting, radio communication. That was, I don't know what the fuck is going on in that team, but I was super disappointed. I mean, the way they're treating that guy, to me, it's a total shame. And really, I don't know what to think about it, but I know what to think about it.
Yeah,
but,
exactly. He's not going to be there next year, is what we think about it.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, but there is a way to do things, and
of course.
They're just behaving like massive dicks. So. Yeah.
But I get the feeling that their hopes and dreams with Ferrari have been crushed somewhat, and that's why they've gone for all of this alternate stuff, and that actually, when it comes to 2 years' time, they'll be one of the ones that jump on the bandwagon of the new engine manufacturer that comes in, whether it be Audi or Porsche or whomever.
Still, I don't know. I mean, those guys are Swiss, so.
Yeah, exactly. They're not going to take sides. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it goes all the way back to the Second World War. I mean, they were more than happy to get all the German gold. Fuck it. So
either that, or they're going to get their nail clippers out.
Right. So other than that, that was pretty much it. I was glad to see Mr. Yamamoto on the podium, the big manager, finally a Japanese on the podium, it was good to see. The guy was ecstatic. Tsunoda made 9th place.
Honda have won a Formula One race, right? Mexico, 1950.
Yeah. So Tsunoda made some really nice points. So good for him. And
I thought he drove very well. Again, a good drive by him. Under tricky situation as well.
Yeah. And Red Bull, drove a very good race. They, it has to be said that this was historically a Mercedes track, and the situation on the track was fucking appalling. And you remember we spoke about it before the race because the GP guys complained about how terrible the track was, and the track was terrible. There is a brilliant, I sent you the link, but there is a brilliant helmet cam from Ocon in, I think it was FP2 or whatever, where you can actually appreciate the bumps. And if you turn the volume up, you can actually see here the bottom of the car bumping. It's weird. I mean, I remember Sainz first lap when it was battling with Ricciardo. His car was literally jumping. The back of the car was literally jumping. On the corner. So the situation is terrifying. And I think that to give a little bit of credit to Red Bull, they were the ones which decided to go with a lower setup, than all the other cars. Mercedes, and of course, it's a British team, so you can't rely on anything they say, especially their British manager, Toto Wolff.
I have a quote from Toto.
Where he said that that they raised the car, because the bumping and all that stuff.
They had to,
Red Bull, so it has to be said that everybody raised the car a little bit, but Red Bull apparently did it less than the others. And on Saturday, they asked to the FIA for some, checking, because they actually reinforced, both the rear wing with some, piece of carbon fiber, and also the front wing. They patch it with some resin during the FP2, FP3.
FP1. They did it in FP1,
Yeah. And then they reinforce it, with some proper, carbon fiber. So and I commend them for taking the risk. I mean, that was a huge risk, and you could say, I mean, Ocon had a problem with during the race, apparently he broke the rear wing or stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
so kudos to them, for being risky, and I can't really blame it. It all worked out really well for them. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's 12 points ahead, and I think that, I mean, up until the last race, I was giving 50-50 chance. I think that now we are talking more about like something 70-30 to Max Verstappen to win the championship, mostly because
Oh wow, that's quite high. Yeah.
yeah, mostly because I was super disappointed by how Mercedes reacted poorly during the race and even before the race. I mean, they basically do not have a second driver because Bottas, was really,
Gone again.
really bad, and
Yeah,
they
no,
actually.
if only they'd managed to sign someone midway through the season that wouldn't be so shit.
Yeah, but the Germans, I told you already, I mean, they're never going to do that. Oh, sorry, they're British, they're never going to do that.
Thank you.
So,
Well, it's not the fair thing to do, admittedly. But then, as I pointed out, he is from Finland, so
Well, they're treating him like shit. I mean, they basically, when there is something to change, they change everything and his brother, to his car. Oh, talking about things which have been changed, there was some really interesting statistics I think it was during qualifying. And I don't know, there must be something really fucked up with the Alpine, with the Renault car. Because there was one
it's
thing.
French. Apart from that,
Well, yeah, okay. So there are two really fucked up things with that Alpine. One is French, and the other one, I have no fucking idea why, but they changed the exhaust system 10 times this year. I mean, what the fuck? How can you fuck up the exhaust system? I mean, it's wow, it's mind-boggling. But apparently they're French, so fuck them, right? I think it's made out of baguette and camembert. No fucking idea.
I'm guessing they're doing it for power reasons.
Yeah.
To change the power band, but I don't know why they.
And sorry, I just replied to a comment by Benna. I mean, the Australian has already won in Monza once, and that's all he's gonna get. It was a brilliant race, but that's pretty much it. Oh, talking about Ricciardo. Well, I sent you, the picture with the wife beater and all the stuff. Another thing I haven't told you: Zach Brown has had a tattoo on his arm with the Monza layout. Because of the fact that Ricciardo won, said, if I'm gonna win, you're gonna have a tattoo. So he had to comply and have a tattoo on his arm with the Monza layout. Which, again, as far as tattoo goes, the Monza layout, I mean,
pretty good,
could have been worse,
And who's the other guy that he was supposed to get a tattoo that never really did? Who was it? Was it Franz Tost or someone?
Yeah, maybe I can't really remember.
Yeah,
that.
okay. Well, somebody else said if he gets a podium, he'll get a tattoo, and Ricciardo did. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can't remember who. Oh, yeah. I know. It's Cyril Abiteboul, was it? Cyril Abiteboul. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So so you're giving it 70-30. I'm still. I mean, I still think it's definitely game to this round. It definitely goes to Max Verstappen. They managed to use the car. Obviously, there were some interesting things that did come out of this Grand Prix, which was the Mercedes system. The advantage that they had in the race previous to that, they weren't able to utilize at this particular circuit, and that could change that could change the car dominance in the next few races. So that's what I'm excited about. The Mercedes suspension system, rear suspension system, which gives them an extra, they reckon, maybe 10 miles an hour down the straight. Mm-hmm. If they manage to get that working again at another circuit, then there's a good chance that they'll be able to use the high downforce around the corners and also shed some of that downforce down the straight, in which case they will have a huge car advantage again. back to the way it used to be. And if that's the case, then Max obviously is going to really struggle. And of course, this is where Bottas comes into play, really, because if he cannot get second place, right, then
Okay, I'm laughing
oh my
already.
God,
Yeah,
then, oh
carry
my
on.
God.
I'm
Well, no,
laughing
I'm just saying,
already.
if he doesn't, then I
Yeah.
am going to be screaming George Russell at the top of my voice every single Grand Prix we have. All right, because I saw this, like 10 races ago, plus 15 races ago. I saw that this was going to be an issue. Just the same way as it is with Kimi, and just the same way it is with Giovinazzi. Really, that's what we saw. Is Giovinazzi's been told he's not there next year now. That's what I reckon.
Yeah, but you see, the problem with Russell is that. So, I mean, you gotta. I never told you were wrong. That
That's
they
true.
should have done that.
You said they wouldn't. You're right.
They wouldn't, because they're fucking. I don't know. I guess I would. Well,
They
I
said
guess
they wouldn't.
now
I mean,
I have to say that because they're German. Actually they're British. When it suits you, but whatever. It's.
Okay.
I mean-
Yeah. The only thing that isn't British about that team, right, is of course Lewis Hamilton's dog. Okay. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
I reckon. Well, I mean, I'm just saying that I think come the end of the year they'll really be regretting it, and Lewis especially. But what you're going to do? Lewis has been there for Bottas all the way through. He's been supporting him, as you rightly say and rightly said last year, probably. Bottas is there is because Lewis knows he can beat him on any given day. So and I think Lewis will pay the penalty for that. I really do. So there's that, and then of course next year he will be up against not just Max Verstappen in what is almost certainly going to be a superior car next year,
Right.
because they've got Adrian Newey designing their car, and Adrian Newey is
yeah.
the most consistent designer. I was getting there. Go ahead, you say it.
No. There were a couple of things. The first one you were talking about, Bottas and Russell coming next year, and I'm starting to think that if Lewis is really smart, but I still don't know if it's in his course.
He has a vegetarian dog. I think you may be confusing him with somebody.
No. I was just going to say that I think that if he was really smart, he should retire at the end of this year. Because I think that he could survive. I mean, he survived one Nico Rosberg. I don't know if he can survive two of them. So he won a lot. I mean, he's on top of the mountain. I think he should retire. I'm getting this feeling because Russell is not going to be Bottas, first of all. Bottas, came after Rosberg, so they decided to put somebody which wasn't really bothering, Lewis. But Russell is going to bother Lewis a lot. So I think that he's thinking about retiring, and if there were in issues, I would really think really hard about that. But the other thing about Adrian Newey,
I disagree with that point, but go on.
Okay, yeah. Just really quickly with Adrian Newey, we just knew this weekend that Adrian Newey wasn't on the track for quite some races. And the reason was, it just turned out this weekend, Adrian Newey had a really, 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 really bad accident with a bicycle. And when I mean bad accident, I mean that it was more dead than alive. He recovered, and we saw on the track right now. And so rumors are that one of the reasons why the Red Bull has been so good ever since Turkey, which was when Adrian Newey came back, is because Adrian Newey actually had some saying in the setup of the car. Now Adrian is not only a brilliant engineer, but he's also, and we shouldn't forget about that, he's also a track engineer. He's always been a track engineer, so which is a set of skills which you develop through the years. So you either have it or it's really hard to to get them, and he's brilliant at that too. So I have
this feeds into this feeds into the same thing you were saying earlier about Red Bull's strengthening their wings. Well, I
Yeah.
think they decided to go down that route of having lower downforce, more strain on the wings because Adrian was there, and he was able
Yeah.
to give it the pass and say, yeah, this is strong enough to take those forces.
Yeah.
Because he
Yeah.
designed the parts in the first place, so he's very
Mhm.
much aware of where the limits are, you know.
Yeah.
And you can't get that with anybody else because they don't, you know, Adrian designs the whole car, and it's not like he
Yeah.
just gets
Right.
involved in one particular section. No, it's the whole car. And so when
Right.
Adrian is at the tracks, he's developing the car, you know, in a whole a global sense throughout the year, right? So he'll
Which
see
is
that
no, you're
it's
right. I mean,
weak in an area, and then he'll redesign not just that
yeah.
area, but everything else that needs to be designed.
Which I think is really good. You know how partial I am, to engineers on track, at least good ones. And the
Yeah,
fact
yeah.
that you still have one person over there which can actually make the difference in some instances. It is a good thing. But I've got before you
Very
go
much.
on, I've got a funny anecdote about Adrian Newey. So apparently, when Luca di Montezemolo was still running Ferrari, they contacted Adrian Newey, to come working for Ferrari. And and basically what Adrian replied to him said, and this I think is something which is weird in F1. But the excuse that he gave, he said something on the line that because of the fact that he has 7 dogs, right? He said, well, you know what, I would never be able to relocate in Italy because, it would be hard to find a villa in Italy which can accommodate 7 dogs. That was his excuse. and the story goes that, that Luca di Montezemolo just took the how do you call this? Like the table,
The desk
yeah,
table, right.
yeah, the desk, and he just turned the table upside down, turned the desk upside down, and say, you know what? Fuck it, if we want, we can find a house where it can accommodate 25 mutts. Is that so? But he used that as an excuse. He really didn't want to come to Italy. He wanted to stay in Red Bull. But yeah, so that's how he knew it. So I mean, fuck it.
Yeah, he's very peculiar, and he's very much a peculiar Englishman at that. So,
Yeah.
and
So
that's
apparently,
one of the things I love about him, right? Because he designed the New Zealand boat, didn't he? For
he
America.
was involved.
America,
Yeah,
yeah.
with that. Yeah, it was involved with that. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, it just goes to show you the guy is super smart when it comes to
Well-
engineering and designing.
No, but it's funny because a person which is that smart, and the first excuse you can find is that no, you know what? In Italy, you cannot find a villa which can accommodate 7 dogs.
Yeah.
Really? I mean,
Yeah,
really?
Well, I mean,
Really?
mainly because of the neighbours, I'm guessing.
Oh,
But-
yeah.
But then
Yeah.
I'm also guessing that Ferrari, if they wanted to, could build him a villa somewhere.
Yeah. No, but actually he had a point because the only villa which was like that was bought by Sting previously.
okay,
So
yeah.
that was the only one. There's not any other villa, and that's the reason why I'm stuck with 2 dogs. I mean, because I can't fit 3 dogs.
Can't
in my-
move. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
fuck,
fair enough.
yeah.
Okay, that's great. We should just go over the race results quickly before we bring our Peter in. And we will get to your question, Benna, very shortly. Don't worry. So if we could just have the results out just to let people know.
Yeah.
And here we go. So first place, Max Verstappen, a fantastic win by Max, really putting one finger onto the title. So well done to him. A brilliant race by Lewis Hamilton, though, to get second place, considering the car was at a disadvantage to the Red Bull. So again, showing his class as a driver. In third place, obviously a fantastic race by Sergio, really doing his job for the team and starting to become on confidence. Of course, next race will be his home GP, so we're expecting a good result there. Leclerc, again, outperforming his car, I felt, to come in fourth place, showing that the Ferrari still got something in it, especially when you get a great driver in. So well done to the Pacey Pastry. Fifth place, of course, Ricciardo. Again, he seemed to be on song. He seemed to be very confident this weekend, really enjoying himself, coming in close behind Leclerc and really doing the best job and getting the most out of his car. Bottas a little bit disappointing, considering he was in the second fastest car on the grid. To only come sixth was very disappointing. Although, of course, he did have an engine penalty of 5 places. So it was always going to be a struggle to get through. Mostly he had the same problems that Lewis did last race, which was getting by Tsunoda, and that really held him up. Carlos Sainz, a little disappointing because he was so far behind and off pace, but nonetheless, not bad. Lando Norris, don't know what happened to him. I think he struggled in the first lap, got a bit of damage, and his car was never the same. Ninth place, I beg your pardon. Ninth place is, of course, Tsunoda, who really drove very well, considering that car didn't deserve to be anywhere near there. So he actually had a great race, and I don't know what happened to him, considering he just kept his head together. He obviously really enjoys the track there. Sebastian Vettel, an excellent 10th place, considering that car isn't even supposed to be in the top 20. And there are only 20 cars, so that tells you something about what I think about that car at the moment. 11th place, Giovinazzi really drove well, considering, again, that car is just not supposed to be there. And I don't know what is going on with that team, as Fabio was saying about earlier. All we can guess is they're changing both drivers and sponsors and engines and everything at the first opportunity. Lance Stroll in 12th place did a really good job, of course, backing up Vettel. And again, outperformed the car to a slight degree. He's turned into a very good driver, I think. He's definitely a very good driver for the mid-range, anyway. Not going to be world champion, but nonetheless. 13th place. Can't remember who it is. Oh, yes, I can. It was Kimi Raikkonen. Again, really overdriving his car, trying to extract the most fun from the season, his last season. So we can't really blame him. He had a great time. George Russell, 14th, a little disappointing, considering. But again, he had a terrible first lap and really suffered with traffic. So there you go, George. 15th place was a fantastic drive by Nicholas Latifi, who actually had a great drive because he was near Russell, which makes a change. Mick Schumacher in 16th place. There's a funny story about Mick, isn't there?
Yeah.
Max was very worried about Mick. And I did confuse the message at first. He said, tell Michael to get out the way. And I was thinking, Michael? Does he even know what decade he's in? I'm not sure he does. But it turned out to be Michael Massey he was referring to.
Yeah.
So that was that. Just a miscommunication in English. Typical Dutchman. Anyway, moving on. 17th place. Mazepan, who did really well. 18th place, Fernando Alonso, didn't finish. Both Alpines had engine problems or rear end problems. That's all they said in the race. Ocon not finishing, and of course Gasly was out somewhere. Can't remember what happened to Gasly. Just out.
It just broke. It broke the rear suspension. It just exploded. Yeah.
All right. Very much like Vettel did a few years ago on the Ferrari. Yeah. Those curbs are vicious. Anyway, so that was the race results. It was an interesting race from strategy point of view. Again, on that circuit, you're not going to get a lot of overtaking just because of the first section. So we can't be too careful with that. Okay, before we just go to Peter's Peter the Pit, his bit, we're just going to answer a couple of questions inside chat. So Australia back on for next year.
Is it?
Fabio?
Yeah.
I believe it has been said so, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're going to go to Albert Park, and they've slightly changed the circuit, which is good news. And then there was another one down here.
Yeah, it's asking when is F1 going to electric? Well, I mean, they're hybrids. So I'm talking about the hybrids. Ferrari bought a new system. Apparently, they double the voltage. So they're now running from 400 close to 800 volts. The batteries are still the same, but they managed to ramp it up, and this is one of the reasons why their engine has been so as performing better, the last races. And they're basically, but what they're basically doing that, Ferrari is doing I think the smart move that they're testing stuff for the new engine right now. I mean, they're testing components, and of course everybody's doing that. That might be one of the reasons. I don't know why Alpine is changing so many exhaust systems. Fuck me, said. I mean, I can't still wrap my head around the fact that they got to change so many exhaust systems.
They can afford it this year, apparently.
Geez, I mean, they're fucking pipes, I mean, they're welded in such a way it's complicated, but they're fucking pipes, It's I don't know.
Well, if they can afford it this year, it just shows they didn't spend enough money on the actual car design. So there you go. That's all I'm saying there. And also in the next couple of years, of course, they're changing fuel in Formula One, and we're going to a methane-based fuel. So I don't think electric is anywhere in the near future for Formula One, at least in the next 10 years, I would imagine.
Yeah, there might be something.
So that's the answer
on,
for that.
Not full. I mean, I don't see full electric coming soon.
No, again, at least I think there's like a 5 or 6 year freeze after the next change, which is 2026. So we've got 7 years at least before they can change to electric if they go that way, which they probably will eventually.
There is a question from Savage before you call Peter in and just ruins everything, But did you guys say your picks for the season? I mean, it's all. I'm strongly leaning towards Max Verstappen winning the season, just because of the past performances. I mean, not so much, the past performances of Lewis in the last races, but the whole Mercedes package, and that is something which we saw 2 or 3 years ago when Ferrari was a really good contender. It seemed to me that one of the problems that Mercedes had, and unfortunately not too many, well, actually two teams have been able to actually try to exploit them, and one was Ferrari 2 years ago, and now Red Bull, is that they really do not perform really well under pressure. And I think that is something to do with the fact that they were so dominant toward the other cars that they really have no experience in dealing with hard competition, which doesn't come inside their team. You know? But that is just mine.
Oh, for sure. They haven't had to make those calls. I think really where they struggle, again, is this idea that they, and you've spoken about this for the last 2 or 3 years, actually, which is really they design their car to be out front, not to be catching up and overtaking. They design a car that is supposed to be running clear air, and they try and make that the fastest car on the grid. And then they expect to get pole and just lead the races, and they think that that's going to give them the advantage. And now they're finding that they have to they're having to change subtly, and their car is just not designed to have that much front end. Hence the low rake philosophy that they've been running for the last few years.
No, and I mean, I totally agree with you, and you're right, because if you just watch the Aston Martin, I mean, Aston Martin was last year Mercedes, which, I mean, it should be a mid-pack car. And, I mean, so let's forget for a moment Stroll, he's a good driver, but let's forget Stroll for a second. Let's take, Sebastian. Sebastian is a world-class driver. There is no question about that. You can either like the guy or not, but he can fucking drive. And he can't perform the car because it's always in the mid of the pack, and the car doesn't react the way it's supposed to be doing, like, for example, an AlphaTauri does, which, you wouldn't expect it, but,
Well, I mean, again, they have high rake as well, okay? So that's the thing. I mean, the way I see it now is that the Mercedes, being low rake, struggles on front-end grip, and that's where it loses because, of course, it gets behind, it loses even more of that front end, and then slides, and that's why the tires wear out. Whereas the Red Bull, being a high rake car, is naturally oversteery. So even if it loses some of the downforce on the front end, it still is a bit more oversteery and doesn't lose as much in the tires at the front end. And I think that is actually the reason why in the last few years it's been catching up, because it's been more important. As they've got more and more power behind them, because they did come from Renault, of course, which was an underpowered engine. As they've come up to parity, then of course they've had the straight line speed to keep up with Mercedes.
That is absolutely, you know, a good analysis. I think there's something more, and again, you know, I'm not saying. So I would say that is, you know, the analysis. I think there must be something more to add, which I can't really, you know, grasp. Like the fact, for example, that especially in qualifying, I saw the Mercedes, they were actually struggling with traction, which you wouldn't expect with a low rate car, but still they managed to do that. So I think there's something in the overall balance of the car which doesn't, you know, it's either this year they stretched things a little bit thin, or maybe this car is an evolution of the car which was supposed to be last year car with the DAS system, which wasn't. I don't know. But
That's another point as well. Yeah,
there is something which has thinned, you know, the juice in the overall package of the Mercedes, and now they are showing some limits where you would not expect them to show. Like again, no, the problem with the rear traction is something that, okay, I'm expecting everything, but problems with the rear axle, you know. So there's something, you know, really weird about that car. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I think they've been struggling to get this rear suspension system working properly, and that's where they really suffered, because of course we got some really high speed corners. So they couldn't really use it. But anyway, that's another thing. Okay, so this week we sent Peter with Charles Leclerc, actually on the same flight to do an interview with Charles Leclerc. We sent him on the same flight to America. So I'm just wondering, Peter, are you there? And did you manage to get to Austin okay? Hello, there he is. We can't hear him, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was sorry about that. Apparently you ended up somewhere else. We paid for a 5-star hotel for you in New York, because that's... Okay, beg your pardon. Fantastic. Okay. Yeah, well done. Yeah, okay.
Well, listen, you know, you're super appreciated, you know. And by the way, I'm sorry you're under a bridge. You know, I told Simos to book you at hotel at the Staybridge Suites in Austin, you know, but he made up fucked up on it, and he booked you under the bridge. He understood Peter stays in the bridge, you know, but
Look,
I thought Staybridge Suits.
Look,
So,
I just asked, where are the most prostitutes in Austin? And somebody said under the bridge. So naturally, I just said, yeah, book it.
Yeah.
What else?
I'm, I'm, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Peter. Before you go on, you know, because Savage is saying that there is no sound from you. Can you?
Oh, no, that was just at the beginning. We're okay now.
Oh, okay. Well.
Oh, hang on. No, hang on. Someone's
No,
saying
there
that
is no
Peter still
sound
can't be
from
heard.
the. Yeah. No, there is no sound on the YouTube feed.
Okay. So how about now? Can people hear me now? I should be able, if someone can just let me know
Yes.
whether or not there is sound.
Yes, now you're coming through. Now you're coming through.
Okay.
Now you're okay.
No idea why that didn't work.
Damn.
According,
Damn. I paid StreamYard a hell of a lot of money for that, and you ruined it, Fabio.
it's the whole budget. It's the whole budget thing.
We made the best jokes ever of the season.
Yes.
You know, those were the best jokes ever.
Well,
and they're lost.
I did record those, so for the people who want to become a Patreon of the channel, they could get the
Oh yeah, that's a good
the
thing.
nasty bits that we
Bribes,
don't
yeah.
show on the show. So that might be an
Patreon?
option.
I don't have Patreon. who's ripping my channel off?
Whose Patreon
wait.
is that exactly? Because I haven't seen a dime. So
Hang on,
hold
let
a
me just
second.
read.
Yeah.
Let me find out. Patreon /
Yeah.
Steve Gray. What the fuck?
What? Wow.
Okay, so
Anyway, here we go.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we
Yeah.
paid for the ticket with Charles Leclerc.
Yeah,
Peter, what
and
happened?
I was smart enough to get on the correct plane. Charles didn't, and so it is still under investigation at the FIA. The person who's been reported for the most track limits was probably Leclerc because he was in New York and not in Austin. So that might
just to recap, Charles Leclerc got on the wrong plane and ended up in New York.
ended up in New York.
So there you go.
Yep. So and then
so
we do
someone
have
at Ferrari has been fired. I can guarantee you that much.
Probably. So the person who probably had the most fun this weekend was a guy called Ricky Bobby. He's been on several shows with his distinct southern accent, and he's also, this is a fun thing. He's going to develop an entire clothing line because of this. So what he's going to do, he's going to get in touch with the people who designed NASCAR T-shirts back in the time when Dale Earnhardt was racing. So he's going to develop an entire clothing line based on retro NASCAR T-shirts. So that's going to be the Ricky Bobby.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like the idea.
Yeah.
And it's also worth saying as well that he did interviews on the Thursday with an American accent.
Yeah.
So he was well into it.
Oh,
and
he
loves being in America.
He did more than that. He did the interviews on Formula One in accent. He did one for a television show, and he did an entire thing on some YouTube channel as well. But I think it's a good idea that he's developing that clothesline, because when it comes to the Americans, they beat him to it. I don't know whether or not that should be a thing. I have no clue. I really,
That's nice.
yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, and they've got different pictures of him as well. It's not just the same picture.
It's not just one.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is
Well,
fantastic.
and
that is a fan. And as you can see, the boyfriend there. Yeah. Just saying. The boyfriend there. It's probably Lando, but we don't know.
Yeah, could be. He is in the US, however, he is considered to be an influencer, because as we see, and people have been asking in the chat,
Really is. Yeah.
that happened somewhere, and it was caught on camera. That is Luciano fan.
That is one fit American.
It is.
Okay,
And
I have to add, hold on a second, that is not something which is actually homologated, because it has to be shown. No, it has to be shown that the shoe is actually in your feet before you drink it. Because I can take a shoe out of a box and drink it. Ha ha ha, really funny. No, it has to be on your feet. So, yeah.
Well, so and since we're on drinking, there was the thing with Perez, who was pretty wasted after the race, because he couldn't drink. And obviously, people on Twitter caught on that, and well, they had a lot of fun with Perez and not having a drink. As you can see, Perez wants
Oh
his
no.
drink, and there were several with Kimi as well. First time for you, so that was because obviously Kimi has had that several times
Yeah.
already. So
And we should mention as well, actually, you have just reminded me that Perez, who finished third and actually did a very good job for Red Bull, also had a bit of a cold this weekend. So for him to go through the whole race without any refreshments, yeah, I think he did pretty well. I think he'd be suffering, but
yeah,
I think he did pretty well.
okay, so
Yeah, and maybe he also had explosive diarrhea. That's why he got third, because he had to rush for the lose. So, yeah.
There is that.
well, and as we know, America's a pretty religious country, and so apparently all of them have been praying for Max Verstappen, and right here is a picture where you can see that God actually sends down a beam to make sure that Max wins. That is
Hmm.
that was also
That's
caught. So
amazing.
it
That's a
is.
little
Yeah,
bit gay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah. But there you go. That's Max. That's Max for you. What can you say?
Yes.
Yeah.
He hasn't told his dad yet, obviously.
Yeah, and so since we were in Texas, we know that everything is bigger in Texas, and that became apparent during the Formula One as well, because there we've got the man who brought the
Oh boy.
That was going to be my meme actually, which was to say the 2022 has car.
To be fair,
Yeah.
I've had a Cadillac, so I know how big one of those is. Seeing
Yeah.
Shaq sit in there, the car doesn't look that big. It's,
No.
it's just
So just yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no. It's just the guy is massive. If you see the car and look at the driver, you can barely see the driver up front, but you can see Shaq sitting in the back. Yeah.
Well, actually, Peter, we made some scientific calculations, and we figured out that you need 3 Tsunodas to make one Shaquille O'Neal.
that was
That's
the
only in height.
that was the
but
only
if you-
picture. That was the only picture that Formula One fans had been asking for, and is nowhere
Yeah.
to be found. They wanted a picture with Shaq and Tsunoda in the same picture.
So, and yeah, but the thing is that we're talking just about height. If we're talking about mass, you need 6 Tsunodas to make one Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
That's it. And talking about that car you're showing right now, keep in mind that, yeah, I mean, Shaq is huge. They parked the car just below the podium. The whole Red Bull team sat in the car.
Yes.
All of it.
Yeah.
I mean, all the guys in the box managed to find place in that car.
Yeah.
Shaquille was not there, of course, because that would be only
That wouldn't have worked, because I've got the comparison since you bring up the Red Bull team. There, it's
Yeah, there you go. There you
Yeah.
go.
it's like a dad with his kids, basically, and it became even more apparent on the podium. I don't know if you've seen pictures of him on the podium. I mean,
Yes,
it is incredible if you look at that. So He's,
Oh, that's brilliant as well. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be signed for Red Bull next year somehow.
no, but
there you go.
I did have something. Since we're on, we got a Dutch guy on the podium, obviously. But I know that Fabio likes to.
Obviously.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Fabio likes to
I thought
watch
he, I thought he was, I thought he was from Belgium.
Yeah, Fabio watches the cheaper form of racing where they only can afford 2 wheels.
Holy shit.
and-
true.
You really want to go there?
And
Okay,
and there's a
carry
Dutch
on.
driver there as well who this weekend has developed some new driving positions. Have you seen that?
Oh, yes, I have. I don't think he's Dutch, though, is he?
He's Dutch.
I don't know. I don't know
His
who he's
name.
talking about.
His
I thought
name
he was
is
talking about Mark Marquez, but
no. I'm
obviously
talking
not.
about
This is definitely
Bo Bentsnyder, and here we see him with his
brilliant.
entirely new position. He managed to get into the pits like that.
Brilliant.
So
Nice.
people can go and have a look.
That's a hell of a save. That is
It
a hell of a
is.
save. I mean, also, to be said, I did see the Mark Marquez save. Did you see that in
Oh
practice?
yeah.
No.
That
Oh
was
my
really,
word!
really good.
Oh my
Really
word!
good. Really
Yeah.
good.
No, but he was in this position and then managed to get into the pits.
Yeah,
People need to
that's
go
impressive.
do a look on YouTube. There probably is some footage somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably going really slow, so.
He wasn't going that.
You don't have the footage.
No,
No?
yeah,
You don't have the footage. Okay.
I did think about it, but I'm not sure whether or not we would get a strike because
Okay.
they're not always
I
happy
think
with us
if we can
sharing
comment on
things.
it, but that's fine. That's fine. Go look
One
for
thing I
that.
noticed,
We-
I think
we do have
everybody's,
this.
having fun today, but please don't
Obviously-
litter. I noticed there was a lot of
obviously
stuff lying
because
around coming
guys
to
are
the
Asian.
track, and I know it's a big event. You have fun, and you should have fun, but please do not litter and get your stuff in the bin. It makes life a lot easier for all the people that have to clean up. So thanks for the respect, and enjoy your day.
That's it. Thanks, Ed. Thank you.
One thing I
Nice.
And that is
Okay, yeah.
and that is obviously because we do remember Vettel is the
Yeah.
guy who has to pick up everything. So he's becoming
Afterwards, yeah. That's how he makes his extra money for the weekend, doesn't
yes
Yeah.
yes.
Otherwise, Aston Martin couldn't afford to come racing. That's the
The
only
guy's a
reason they're
fucking
allowed in the
gentleman.
paddock.
Stop picking on him. I mean, he's
He
a
is.
fucking gentleman.
He
Jesus
is.
Christ. Yeah.
Speaking about
Despite his beginnings.
yeah, speaking about second jobs, they did do an investigation whether or not Tsunoda would be up for doing some baseball, and so they tested his throwing skills. That doesn't work. You can look at it again. Not even close. The guy can't throw. Funny enough, we've got someone else who I thought the drivers were popular, but it seems, and this could be due to Arnold Schwarzenegger, I don't know exactly, but Toto Wolff, when he arrived at the track, people went nuts. They saw Toto Wolff. I mean, well, and
Brilliant.
that was my bit. I do have one extra piece of information because obviously I walk
Please.
around in the pits, and I do have a tiny history in TV. So when I saw the guys from Netflix walking around, I did manage to have a chat with one of those, and so Netflix is doing the Drive to Survive thing on Formula One.
Indeed.
And I did hear rumors that they're going to do a second show next year, which is going to be centered around one particular driver.
Right.
So
Which
that-
one?
Well, they didn't want to tell me. All I got was that
Okay.
the driver was Russian, and then I asked what the title would be, and they wouldn't tell me that either. They said it was a spin-off.
Wow. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good setup. Great setup.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay. Fair enough.
By the way, I never seen people so excited about seeing Toto Wolff ever since.
I didn't get that either. That
Yeah,
was
no,
kind of-
he commented. He actually made a comment about that particular couple. He said, "Then that's you, the trouble." So obviously everybody understood. Okay.
Do we get subtitles with that
Thank
comment?
you very much for that, Peter. That
Yeah.
was incredible. I'm glad you managed to change planes before getting to New York. Sorry
Yeah.
about that. Won't happen again. And where are we next? In 2 weeks' time, we're Mexico. So we're going to keep you in the United States, and we're going to get you to get to Mexico. Unfortunately, we don't have any transport for you, so you're going to have to try and get past Trump's wall.
Well,
Yeah, and
so
also be really careful about the Montezuma revenge in Mexico.
Oh,
So
oh, yeah.
what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to
Although
do
she's a lovely lady, I've heard.
what I'm going to
Well,
do is I'm going to ask
kind
Robert.
of shitty if you ask me, but
I can
Go
probably crash at Robert's place, and then Robert can drive. He's going to Louisiana every weekend anyway, so he'll probably drop me
Right.
off in Mexico. That should be that big of a problem.
nice.
Excellent. And yeah, okay. So as I say, anything else you guys would like to mention?
No, I got.
Yeah, I'm gonna put myself under the spotlight right now, and I would say watch out for Leclerc in Mexico.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going for a Lewis win with Bottas second. I think Mercedes will have the perfect weekend. That's my prediction, and I think that'll close up the championship just rightly nicely.
Yeah,
So
and
there
we
you
know
go.
we know how good you are at predictions.
Yes,
Yeah, so
exactly. I haven't got
especially
too much
especially when
yet.
it comes to Bottas. I do
Oh
recall.
yeah.
If you, on the other hand, had said that Bottas is going to change teams twice before next year,
Yeah. Okay. I'm pretty sure I predicted this was his last year, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
That's not the point. Okay. I was just saying if Lewis really wants to take this title easily or more easily than he is going to, because I'm still. I think did you predict Max for this year, Fabio?
No.
Last year? No. Okay. So
No.
I did predict Lewis, so at least I'm still in there, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got that. At least I've got that in my back pocket, and we'll see. And
Yeah.
although I agree with you that there is, those Dutch fingers are clammy for the world title this year. He can almost taste it, but I think that may work against him slightly.
Well, one last thing before we go. I mean, congratulations to Fabio Quartararo, as the French said, for
Oh
winning
yeah, let me just
the
put up a couple
proper
of messages.
for winning the proper championship, for men's, in motorsports for men. Of course, I'm talking about MotoGP. He won, the title last Sunday in Misano, where I was the last race for, Valentino Rossi in Italy. He had a blast. I don't know, he got 9th of 10, but regardless, the guy doesn't give two flying fucks about it right now. So, yeah, kudos to the guy, kudos to him. Marquez won, but, fuck Marquez, because I don't like the guy. So, yeah, you can go and eat a bag of dicks. I was really happy for the Frenchman, first Frenchman to win the MotoGP title.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and actually, he made a really good comeback because he started the race way back, didn't he? He dropped back to like 17th place or something before coming through for 5th place. So.
Yeah, he was in a really good position. So in order for him to win the title, he should have lost, I think, no more than 3 points from Bagnaia, which was, ahead of Marquez. And then he fell down. There's a tricky bump in Misano on a corner, where Jack Miller first fell off and then Bagnaia fell off. It's kind of tricky. So he basically won automatically, but he still managed to get 4th. So and he was overtaken on the second to last corner by Bastianini.
Oh yeah,
which got 3rd. But still,
Yeah. No, it was a good race in that respect. He again shows what a class act he is. Although next year I do feel Marquez, once he gets his shoulder better, will be a big contender. So that's what I'm hoping for anyway, because I'm a big Marquez fan.
You are a big Marquez
I don't know
fan.
why.
Of course, you are a big Marquez fan.
Yeah. Did you know that he's British?
Oh yeah, of course he's British. Yeah. It's no. Okay, the right joke is that he's from Barcelona, and not too many people get that, but he's from Barcelona.
It may as well be British. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah.
So anything, Peter, you'd like to add?
No, I've got everything covered. We'll
Thank you.
have
You
to wait and
certainly
see
have.
what happens in Mexico. It's going to be exciting the last few races to see who's going to win it. Um,
Yeah,
still rooting
absolutely.
for Hamilton, but hey, if it turns out to be a Dutch guy, I can't lose either way.
Yeah, exactly. You can't lose, really, considering. Although, just remember, someone's got to pay for your ticket home after all of this. So be careful.
Oh,
Okay, thank you very much,
oh.
everybody, for tuning in today. That's where we're going to leave it. 2 weeks' time, we've got Mexico. It's an altitude. It's normally a Red Bull circuit. And that just leaves the door open for Mercedes to really pull themselves up by their bootstraps and get their car working. If they do, we've got a championship. If they don't, then it's going to take a miracle, or at least a broken car, for Lewis to win this one. But nonetheless, we're all to play for still. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you, Fabio. And ciao from me.
Ciao, ciao.
Okay, bye bye.